Hello everyone and welcome to another video on threat hunting. Today we'll be covering another set of threat hunting techniques. In the last video I think we went and discovered hunting scenario where we were looking for fake file or process execution, and we also discovered a technique called process of elimination, which basically means searching and filtering, right? That is typically a very popular technique that you also employ to investigation scenarios, so nothing fancy in terms of threat hunting, right? That was our technique number one. You also combine it with process of elimination. You keep on eliminating by adding what you don't need to the search string and keep collating and building the search string. For example, you have, and this could involve a set of operators that you would use to build up that query. It could be boolean operators, right? It could be wildcard searches, it could be regexes, it could be like anything that your SIEM or data lake exposes you to you as a function for searching, eliminating, filtering a large amount of data, and or um, parenthesis, right? All of that counts, right? Everything counts. So all of that is like, let's say, and or parenthesis joins, right? So basically everything that your query language capabilities, right? Some offer joins, don't offer joins, some are native SQL, so you get a lot of other capabilities. Some offer full text searches, right? So full text searches is also counted. You can use full text searches to filter anything. Use that to achieve this is what you need: searching and filtering. Or we will see what's next, right? The second technique is stacking and sorting, right? If I recall correctly, stacking and sorting is another very popular, very easy technique. Most of the people already apply it in a day-to-day investigation. I think most of the techniques that we would see apply to investigation scenarios as well, right? So it comes naturally that if you are a good investigator, you're bound to become a good threat hunter, because as a threat hunter, the problem statement or the nature of the problem statement changes from finding and backtracking and invest a kill chain to finding a needle in the haystack, but you're still finding in both the scenarios, right? So all of this helps as an investigator as well, right? So what is stacking and sorting? Stacking and sorting is a very popular technique where you actually do some amount of aggregation on top of data to basically sort and find rare or top talking events, right? What does it mean? An example would be you have a list of processes in your environment. You first scope it to anything that is making a network connection, right? This already employs your searching and filtering, right? How would you do that? You would do that via searching and filtering. So you would be basically crafting a query where dns.question.name equal to abc.com and process.name is not equal to null, right? And then you would basically list out all of these processes. Now once you have the list of all of these processes, what you would want to do is find which one of them is actually sending the most amount of connections request to abc.com. So what you would do is, the next natural step is you take this query and we chain it with stacking and sorting, right? So we first stack. How do we stack? We say group by process.name, where this is not any query language, this is just a logical referential language that I'm using to explain how you do that. So you grouped by. So what did we achieve here? We actually did stacking. Now the processes are stacked. So what you would have is you would have process dot name and another table column called count. Would have say p1, p2, p3, p4, p5, say random processes, right? And then there would be count, right? Say this one has 1, this one has 2, this one has 3, this one has 10, this one has 1, right? So now you have a stack count, and for the sake of example, this is just 5 processes. You could have hundreds of them, right? Now once you have this, you will want to sort on the count value of it. So what we'll do is we'll just take this query and we'll say sort by process.name, or sort by count, right? So you would have a sorted, and you would also say ascending or descending. Sometimes, or most of the times, what you see as a malicious behavior in the environment is something that is not normal in the environment, right? That one DNS request, that one process running, that one specific bad behavior is just happening once or twice. That is all that many times that it happens. And what you do is, once you stack and sort by ascending order, which is find the rarity of the processes, that is where you would start finding very random anomalous things, right? If you don't have a well-defined structured hypothesis, this is your way to go to unstructured hunt, right? So if you're doing an unstructured hunt, filtering and searching and sorting are a first set of techniques that you would apply to any data set to identify what is baseline, right? This actually helps you understand. This technique is basically helps you gather baselines of the environment, right? So what you have done is you have used filtering and searching to scope, right, to define a target. And then how do you navigate through the results is via stacking and searching. So if I had to say, you have scoped via filtering and searching, and then you have navigating through the haystack via stacking and sorting. Now let me see if I can quickly pull up a data set to show you in real how this functions. Cool. We have sample weblogs now, so I think we'll use that to do a demonstrate how this works. So basically the set of fields that I have is present on the left side, right? So I think the window is too small for you to see. Let me just quickly enlarge it. Hope this is better now, right? We have a set of fields available. We will first do the scoping, right? There's some sample or base query running here. We'll just remove the limit. Don't want any limit. We are hunting, so I'll limit ourselves. We have some sorting done. We'll also convert it into a comment for now. So let's take a scenario. Scenario that we are hunting is people who downloaded Elasticsearch using Mozilla Firefox. Hypothetical scenario, nothing related to threat, but let's assume this is something that we are interested in, right? And we're successful. Now if you see this hunt, there are, you can make definitive searches, right? For example, if you know Elasticsearch, download URL, and you also know user agent, right? For Firefox, and you know success code is 200, right? If you are able to pull or build a search query with all of this, you'll probably be able to get the results that you're looking for. So if you think of a hunt that has definitive values or definitive querying, you don't need to actually pivot to stacking and sorting. Stacking and sorting is something that you use when you actually are not aware, or you're finding. Let's take use cases, right? In what scenarios you would actually use stacking and sorting, right? Stacking and sorting is something that you would use to, you would want to identify, say, distribution of data. You would want to identify top talking and rare events. You would want to identify statistics, right? Statistics, stats of around data. All of this is where you use this. So for example, imagine I want to check what all browsers were used to, what all browsers were used to download Elasticsearch in the environment and were successful. When you have a problem statement or a hunt like this is where you actually will have to use stacking and sorting, right? So we'll try to do this. So our hunt scenario now becomes this, and this is realistic, right? For example, let me tell you, there are a large number of hunts and questions that your management would pose. Like one of the very popular initiatives being run in a lot of organizations right now is, hey, what AI tools people are using? Can you give me a definitive list of AI tools that people are using? And we need to block something that is not authorized, right? So how would you do that? This is a broad, open-ended question. You would need to explore the data, right? Just to say, a real scenario would be, what all AI tools are being used by people, by employee of the employees, and which ones are not authorized, right? So in this scenario, you'll be actually hunting to find out all the, again, you'll all find all the processes connecting back to AI domains, and then sort the process names to identify and create a list. From that list, you actually correlate what is authorized, what is not authorized, right? That would be a real scenario. What all browsers were used to download Elasticsearch in environment and were successful? Where URL, now we have scoped it. So our filtering is here. This is our filtering layer. And then we have, let's put a real scenario, let's put the distribution in place. So what we'll be doing is, we'll also be doing another filter, right? Sorry. Cool. This is where our filtering is, and what we'll do now is we will check the browser. So we'll do count agent by agent, right? And we have 3 user agents coming up, and we want to sort it. Right, so the most amount of download is happening from Mozilla. So we have 32 instances of Mozilla Firefox running in our environment on Linux. We also have Mozilla Firefox running on Linux and Apple, which is Mac on the machine. We have Mozilla 4.0 as well. Right, so this is how you check the spread. This is how you filter. This is how you basically do stacking and sorting to find out the distribution, the spread of it, right? And you can also keep feedback loops, right? For example, I saw this data, I want to eliminate Mozilla from the result, so the filtering would change, right? And it would become and agent is not equal to say anything, which is right. I don't want this, so right. So you keep on the loop. There are only 3 results here, but you might have hundreds and thousands of results. So your filtering keeps on improving, and your distribution is until you reach a point where you can say the distribution is actually, or the spread is actually something that I was looking for. Right, so this is how you do, and this is how the stacking and sorting technique of threat hunting. I'll stop this video here for now. This would be the second technique that we cover. I will try to come up as soon as possible with the third technique, but these are very simple techniques, right? It works with any data set that you have in your hand. The more interesting ones, clustering and grouping and all of that, is something where you would actually need a good hypothesis to execute them. So I think we'll be seeing more of that in the next video. Thank you so much for viewing this. See you in the next one.